Hey folks, how's it going? Today we're going to try a big dry pour concrete project. Put it in my pocket. We'd like to thank Cajun Country Living for this technique. There's a link to one of their most helpful videos in the description of this video. So I had some boards dividing the concrete that we're pouring from the driveway, but what I want to do instead is use a chemical barrier because, so I had some boards dividing the two pieces of the concrete in case the new slab moves due to ground expansion or whatever reason it might move. I heard somewhere that the wood was important, but after doing some research, I discovered that the concrete requires an alkaline environment to set properly. So I'm going to paint this, rather my son is painting the edge of the driveway and then the edge of the walkway. And it's being painted with a slurry of a little bit of mud for particulate, unadhesion, and some vinegar. And the high acidity of the vinegar should interrupt the setting of the concrete. At the very least, it should weaken it or change its nature in some way, shape, or form so that it doesn't bond very well to the driveway. And if the slab does move, one should not adversely interact with the other. Doing a little bit of chemical science. We'll see how that works.
Is it okay if I go to the edges?
Yes, please do that. I mixed together vinegar and mud and painted the edges. Remember what we read about it needing to be alkaline to set properly?
Yeah.
Well, that means that a thin barrier, wherever it touches the walkway and the driveway, shouldn't set properly. So they won't stick to each other. They'll be able to move independently if they need to. This way. Okay. Just from that side, baby. There. Okay. Again. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
So this is the hardest one, is this last one, because it's so tall and because it's right at the edge, right?
After this, we'll be putting bags in front of it and scooping material back towards the board, and it'll all be pretty easy. Okay. Okay. Let's flip the board. Okay, so go all the way that way. Further. Keep going. Keep going. There. Go down. There. Okay, come onto the board. Keep coming towards the front. Keep coming so you're even with me. Okay, can you keep coming? Okay, keep coming.
Let me go back. I feel like...
Well, okay, now we're going to go back and forth,
Okay.
and you're going to rotate forward, and I'm going to stay.
Yep.
Okay, so go. All right.
Am I going too
Yeah,
fast?
let's come back to here and just stay. Just this area right here. Okay, see how it smooths it out? Okay, that'll be fine. Okay, that is like magic. Yep. Let's break concrete. Okay, now, so no, we definitely need another bag.
Dang it. Alright.
Oh. Okay, back up. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to put another one right here.
It's low on...
I know they did that.
Okay.
Okay. It's another bag.
At this point, I'd like to call out that there's some missing footage. There's a process of wetting the concrete that's very important, and you can find details on that by watching the video in the description of this video, and that video is done by Cajun Country Living.
Alright folks, so here's the completed project, and the finish has some washboarding on it, and that was largely just a time constraint thing. We had to get, turned out to be 138 bags. We had to get all 138 bags laid down and smoothed out and paint rollered within 7 hours. We ended up with some unexpected rain, and I wanted to get to that point before the rain came. And just as I finished the, I think, 4th pass of doing the dry paint roller, we got the rain come in. You can see the texture, or the surface on the end here has a lot of exposed rock, and that was largely because right here there's an angle change from that rock pile forward, and the board that we're using to smooth the concrete with, we couldn't really go very far in that direction, so we had to take very small strokes with it, and that really compromised the way the surface looked. It's not a big deal that the surface of this isn't perfect, because the old driveway has a lot of cracking, and if we decide to sell the house in the future, or we ever want it to all look unified, then we would just sand this surface some with some kind of sander, or we would leave it up to a professional to figure out what to do with it, and we would have both of them resurfaced. But today is the day that I do the test, park my truck on it. Alright, so here we are, and as you can see, there's no cracking under the tires, so I'm good with that. The place where the two pieces of concrete meet seems to be nice and strong. Right there is ultimate pressure on the edge of the new concrete. No cracks coming up. No cracks under this tire. No cracks under this tire. So I would say that it works. My biggest suggestion would be make sure that you got plenty of time to handle the laying down of the powder and the smoothing out of the powder, but good with the technique. I'm glad that we did it. And on this particular job, we were quoted $5,000 to $10,000 for the concrete pad, and the concrete and the forms and materials cost us under $1,500. Not very far under, but somewhat under. So that means we saved $3,500 to $8,500-ish on this job. And thank you very much to Cajun Living for the videos, and for everyone who tried to debunk this, because I watched all the debunking videos to make sure that this seemed like it was going to be a good idea. And we'll see you next time.